Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Gordon Maston, and welcome to another edition of my Monday Night Raw review for June the 13th, 2016. Now, tonight on Monday Night Raw, I'm just going to get straight down to it. I mean, it was, well, yeah, I'd say technically tonight because it was for this night's episode, and I'm sorry if this review is going up late, and you'll be able to see here in a second. It is daytime where I am, but you know what? You guys already know how this rolls now. A few plugs before we start this thing out here. Uh, First of all, my number one of all, Twitter. You can subscribe to my Twitter, not subscribe. I'll get to that in a second. It's YouTube, but you can follow me on Twitter. Fight Maston, fight it's like the last part of the fight without the T. As you can probably see there in some of my tweets, I was tweeting about Raw last night when it was going on, and as you can see, there's some of the things I like, and you'll even see right there that I even said Roman Reigns did good on the mic. Like it feels like being in the ring with Seth and Dean kind of brought the best of them. So we'll get there. You can also subscribe to the channel, which isn't really much of a problem. But you know what? Interactiveness during Raw is something that I really have preached over the past couple of weeks when I've started this new format of not using my intro that I usually use. If you are just new to the channel and you're watching Raw reviews, if you wonder, well, what else does he do? Yeah, I can help you figure out what else I do here. Okay, no, just give me 1 second here. Okay, here's the channel. Now I'm gonna put this back up on the screen for you guys here. This is the channel, where, as you can see right now, I'm live. I tried a new show last week. Don't know if I can really continue that. I mean, honestly, I'm a small channel. Any views I can take is what I'll get. But at the same time, it's like many people probably didn't really appreciate that. NXT, Lucha Underground. I have my own custom thumbnails made for that. And hold on here. And these are the rest of my uploads. This is what I do on a consistent basis. The gaming is a little dimmed out. W2K16 in my career. Those videos feel like they're going nowhere. I just basically have done those for fun as of recent. And this is really the rest of what I've been doing recently. I mean, that's really about it. So, let's get into Monday Night Raw. Okay, now, I usually have someone, who does my notes for me. But because that's not a thing tonight, and I can't have that done, what I'm going to do is read off of a dirt sheet website and get the notes from there for Raw. So you know what? I can also say, well, I can, it's not like I'm clueless as to what happened because I know what happened. We start this out with a tribute to the, Orlando shootings, and real classy move on WWE's part. I do appreciate that. It was honestly a good move for them on what they did. But you know what? I don't understand why some scumbag would just go and shoot up. You know what? We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Raw, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, the first thing we get is the New Day opening up the show. They're your WWE World Tag Team Champions, Xavier likes to so often tell us. And, okay, yeah. And they basically start running down their opponents. And first, before they do that, before they talk about Kofi's shoes. Now, we all know Kofi's wearing the Currys because, Stephon Curry is, one of the most highly regarded basketball players out today. Stephon Curry's, well, Steph Curry for short, because that's what he's known as. Steph Curry is practically ruling the world right now. Like, when it comes to, in the NBA Finals, he's in the finals right now. I think the series, I don't know last night. I didn't check it out, obviously, because of Raw, and I'm not that big of a basketball fan, but I do keep in touch of what's going on because I have friends that keep in touch with it, so I just keep in touch with who won certain things. But it doesn't really matter. Kofi's rocking the Currys, and then they're just making fun of him, saying, "Nah, those are them. Those are them Air Max Curry Nike ones." Just finding the funniest way to make fun of his shoes, and it's hilarious. Even when Cass came out later, like he was all serious, and they're like, "Boy," and you're like, "What are those?" Blah blah you got on, and then all I could really think of, I wanted to tweet, "What are those?" But then I'm just sitting here like, so many people are probably already doing that. It's like, I don't know. But after this, we get Enzo and Cass, and then as everybody's saying, like as they're all saying, like, "Oh, you were out on Bourbon Street. We've been out on Bourbon Street, you know." And he's like, "Xavier, I have a question. Where's your girl been? Where's Franny been? Where's Francesca too been?" He's like, "Xavier, like she's an independent woman. She can go wherever she wants." And it's like, "Oh, well, last night I heard on Bourbon Street she was with Enzo." And then Enzo's like, "Yeah, I had my lips all over her." And she, and like they basically started talking about like Enzo getting intimate with the trombone. I almost said trumpet. I don't even know why. With the trumpet, see, with the trombone, and from there it's just like, where is this gonna go? Are we pushing PG boundaries here? I will have no problem for pushing PG boundaries, and we're crossing lines. But we crossed the line because after this, after this, Xavier basically says, and I quote, "No one blows my girl but me." Those are the words that came out of Xavier Woods' mouth. And then the entire crowd's like, "Oh," and like if we're talking about crowd reactions here, like when he said, "I was with Francesca too," the entire crowd's like, "Ooh," like they were talking about a trombone. I don't even know why keep feeling the need to say trumpet, and Xavier said the trombone forever, but we're talking about a trombone here, people. Like really? Like just ooh. The reaction in general is just like, wow, people are way more invested in this than I thought. I'm like, that's nothing bad that you're saying here, like, oh, this is a waste of time and everything. Because as you guys know, I love the New Day. As you guys know, I love Enzo and Cass. Both these teams are awesome. Both these teams are great. But where I'm coming from right now, and what I'm saying is like, we're sitting here having a segment over trombone sex, and who Francesca too is. You might as well call this fucking Jerry Springer. Like Francesca too cheated. No, but in all seriousness, after this, when they started doing this, Kofi's like, it's what everybody's been waiting for, a joust of wits. I think he said between the New Day and Enzo and Cass. And as they're getting ready to get started, the guys who are desperate to get that heat because they're out in the cold, the Vaudevillains come out, and the Vaudevillains continue to say, "Oh, well, would you like what do you call it? Like present the ring to the gentleman," basically calling these guys boys, and they go on. Aiden English sings. I cringe. Anderson and Gallows come out and they basically tell him to shut up. This is stupid. All of you are worthless. Blah blah blah. And it leads into a 8-man tag between Enzo and Cass and Kofi and Big E of the New Day and Enzo and Cass versus the Vaudevillains and the Club. Now, I'm just going to get on to the end of this match. The Club goes on with the Magic Killer, with the proceedings being Kofi not seeing a blind tag that was made by Gallows. Gallows kicks him in the face, dazes him. Magic Killer, 1, 2, 3. Now, my favorite instance of this match goes out to Kofi Kingston. And you know what? It just... Okay. I'm going to say this right now. It feels like Kofi Kingston, like, I don't even want to go into storytelling mode here, but when we used to see Kofi, like, back before the New Day, when he was just that guy, that reliable hand doing things, like, he seemed like his offense and everything, like, the way he went about presenting himself in the ring, like, he didn't really care, like, yeah, I'm going to do the same old stuff, and I'm going to act like I'm happy, but I'm really not, like, this is just getting annoying to me. I know I can put on a good match, but I want to do something. Like, that kind of Kofi, it seems like, if you look at him then, and look at him now, you can actually see the genuine happiness that he presents himself with nowadays. Like, it's incredible. Like, Kofi Kingston is just so much more fun to watch now. And I don't even say that now. Like, hold on. I say that in this regard. Like, not fun to watch because, oh, He did a high fly move. My goal is fun to watch. Like no, 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 not like that. Like when he did the whole plancha over the top rope. Yeah, he did the whole plancha over the top rope. Plancha or tope. I can never really get those two right, but we're going with plancha for now. But when he did the whole plancha over the top rope, yeah, it is a plancha. When he did the plancha over the top rope, I basically just thought to myself, like, I'm like, yes, like Kofi. Okay, I was a child when I like growing up when I liked Kofi Kingston. This is basically the best for me to say this. Like all kids like high flyers. When you see high flying action, you just basically think what commentary tells you. It's fun because when commentary presents something you like that, they just make you think they're doing it because it's fun. No, they're doing it because it's impactful and effective. Like that's what it's being done for. But like my point here that I'm making is, you never know until you realize it when you're older how much character can do for a person's style. And like, your style comes second, your character comes first, especially in WWE. And Kofi with the whole New Day thing, and I feel like this has just been touched upon so much, and I'm just beating a dead horse on the ground. It works so damn well. Like this match, I'm not saying like it was like great, but it worked for what it was supposed to be. Just like, oh, this could happen Sunday, that could happen Sunday, just to implant the possibility of like a simple blind tag and cost the New Day the championships, like just something like that, just to make people fear and worry for the New Day, to put that little lure of unpredictability in there, because it is a fatal four-way tag match, and I think the obvious answers for who would win this thing are between the New Day and the Club, because I don't think they're giving it to Enzo and Cass just yet, and the Vaudevillains, I don't know. Also, I think the Vaudevillains, if the New Day does retain, or if the Club does win, will be fodder to take the pin. I don't think Enzo and Cass are taking the pin. I think they'll be decisively taken out of it at some point before the finish of the match. And if anybody from that team does get pinned, it's damn sure Enzo. Vince is not letting Cass get pinned. You're out of your mind. But yeah, the Club and Vaudeville they totally go on to win this match, and I mean that's pretty much that. Okay, so this is where I check what's up next. And excuse me, because like I said, I'm using dirt sheets for tonight's Raw. Okay, now after the tag match, I am so sorry, people, but yeah. See, this is the thing with me, like reading notes. That dirt sheets put up. You have to go page to page to page to page, and it just gets annoying at some points. But I do apologize for this. This is what happens when I do not get my notes. Oh, we get basically, yeah, graphic for the film. Okay, so this is where we get our stuff leading into what happens with the Shield later, and it's basically a couple of, like, it's the first Shield vignette of three, and if I'm gonna remember this correctly, they did so well of editing CM Punk out of this. That's just me being bitter, because like this, you know what? I'm actually gonna go there because I figured no, I'm not gonna go there. It's not worth it. It's kind of worth it to me. It's only worth it because let's look at it like this. Let's look at it like this, people. It's worth it to mention this to me because, like, you see, oh, the Shield attacked Ryback. Why? Like I'm pretty sure not many people are asking why, but if you are, and I'm telling you, if you're a kid and you don't know the whole history of the Shield, but you just hear they were so great, they were so great, they were so great. I know, like, these most of these demographics aren't kids, but if you weren't able to watch pay-per-views back then, and you don't remember, or you don't know the implications, like, I feel like editing Punk out of that, like, just mentioning it in the video. You just mention it in the video. Yeah, you just mention what happens and what goes on in the video, and like, you show everything that happened, and you show the implications, and you show the commentary of how they thought about, oh, Punk survived and all that. It really furthers what could have happened and how this guy could have been champion. But I guess they didn't want to do that, knowing Ryback doesn't. I don't really think Ryback works for the company anymore, and Cena. You just, I don't know. You play it off like Roman Reigns was going to beat Brock Lesnar all the time. Play it off like Cena could have won another championship then, and he would have been a 16-time world champion by now. If you play everything off like that, then I think it works perfectly. But that's not the case. That's not how it worked out. That's not how it went down. Okay, so that was the first vignette. And then we get a Shining Stars vignette once again. And I'm going to say this about, no, not Shining Stars. It was a Darren Young, make Darren Young great again one. I'm going to say this about him and the Shining Stars. The Shining Stars have wrestled once against, uh, what do you call it, the guys from NXT, the jobbers from NXT, really the NXT personal jobbers, like Corey Hollis and what's his face? I can't even remember his name. Anyways, we're going to move on. And okay. We go backstage next, and it's Stephanie McMahon, and then Shane McMahon walks in, and it's basically, their whole thing about, oh, well, why are you telling people I was on vacation? That's totally not the case. I had personal commitments I had to make, so I couldn't make Raw last week. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that kind of thing. Like, and then Stephanie's like, she's like, well, I didn't know. That's why I said you're on vacation, was the best possible answer. And then this is where it comes off that I think, like, they're talking about who's running SmackDown, and then Kane walks in. And I'm just thinking, I have never really been scared of Kane since I was like, I don't know, 5 maybe. But I'm actually scared of Kane again. And it's not because he's like this imposing, creepy figure. It's corporate Kane. And then he just goes under the whole spiel of as former director of operations, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, dude, I was enjoying you off my screen. Like, go the fuck away, dude. Like, Kane to me just, I'm sorry, dude. Everything about it is overplayed. I mean, it's just overdone. Like, he's overexposed, everything. It's just not even worth going into the spiel about. But he comes off and says, I've been a director of operations before, so I have all the qualifications to run SmackDown. And then Shane basically says he'll talk to Kane about it and they'll run with it. And throughout the night, I mean, Kane and Shane were having bonding bro moments, like not real bonding bro moments, but they put everything behind them, and then they were having moments, like they were cool with each other. They were bouncing ideas back and forth off each other, and that was about that. And they even made a match together later. So I mean, that's enough to be said here. I mean, but yeah. I mean, that's it practically. I don't think I'm missing anything from that segment. But yeah, Stephanie's not Stephanie. Oh yeah, and the other thing too, the letter of recommendation from the Undertaker, like that. Oh my God! Like, can you just imagine? Like, let me just say this. Can you imagine the Undertaker making a letter of recommendation? A letter of recommendation saying that Kane is qualified and he's good enough to blah blah blah. Like, I couldn't just imagine the Undertaker in full gimmick, in full hat, jacket, gloves, everything, sitting down in front of a computer, type. Or better yet, it would, I don't know, it'd better suit him if he did it by scroll or something. Like, if they would have brought a scroll and did that, that would have been completely Undertaker. I would believe that. But Undertaker sitting here sitting here bringing a clean piece of paper that the Undertaker typed up for him. Like, that's stretching the imagination a little too far. That's expanding the amount of disbelief a little too far. But it's meant to be a joke and it's meant to be funny, so maybe I'm just taking it too far. But up next, we move on to another backstage segment, and this is Zack Ryder, talking to a couple of Joe Schmoes, or as Corey Graves would properly call them, Jamokes, backstage, talking about, Apollo Crews sucker punch Sheamus, ha 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 ha. Sheamus comes up, oh, you thought it was funny? Yeah. He's like, it'd be funny if that when I bro kick your face in, blah, blah, blah. That's basic Sheamus. I'll bro kick you, 1, 2, 3, fella. And then he's like, oh, hey, Apollo. And then Apollo isn't there. And the guys in the suits, the Jamokes, have a couple laughs. And that's pretty much that. Nothing to really say about that. It really did nothing for me. All it did is affirm that we get Sheamus versus Ryder tonight. And why? Because Ryder made a joke, and we all know Zack Ryder's losing. Now, I'll get to my thoughts on Zack Ryder in a second when we get to that match. But after the commercial break in that, we got another video package of the Shield, and this one was when they turned on the Authority, and then the Evolution feud started. Okay. And this, well, after this video package, we get Titus O'Neil walking out of the ring. I don't know who he's facing, but he's in competition. And I actually did groan here, like, Titus. And then just, I'm like, you know what? Nah, dude. Like, I'm like, fine. We get a Titus match. And then Rusev, as he's going down the ramp, interrupts and kicks Titus' shit in. And completely throws him off the stage, throws him into the bottom part of the stage near set up for the ramp, and basically throws my man in an accolade. Not just one, like 2 accolades, and then that was pretty much it. You know, the referees have to help Titus up and everything. I will basically spoil a prediction for right now. The Usos, why did I say the Usos? I have no clue what I came to my mind. I'm glad they went around tonight. Titus O'Neil is not, I repeat, is not beating Rusev on Sunday. So, you know, you can just toss up the kickoff if you want to. I don't really care. But I believe they're going to say no because they need matches to fill the card. So, yeah. But after this, okay. After this, we get another. I should know this isn't a Shield. This is the Shining Stars. And this is basically the Shining Stars talking about blah, 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 Puerto Rico, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be completely honest with you. I zoned completely out. Okay. Now, after that, we're moving on to another Shield video package. And this is Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. And from there, we all know how that went down. And you know what? Next is the Ambrose Asylum. Now, I've seen conflicting opinions on the Ambrose Asylum about how this really went down and how Dean ran it and everything, and just so many people, as it feels like, I'm not going to say they've soured on Dean Ambrose because I don't want to make it seem like Dean Ambrose just sucks now. Dean Ambrose's character is written so poorly, and it's like he's the babyface version of Bray Wyatt. Like, in a company where you're built to the highest extent and wins and losses truly matter so much so that Ambrose has been built up to fall back down so many times. It's not even cool to me that Ambrose is basically the rubber band guy. WWE, like, you can stretch him out, they can make him win, they can make him lose, they can hold him in the mid card for about 2 months and then bring him into the World Championship picture. This is what they're gonna do with Dean Ambrose, and this is like, he's not the guy like Rollins has been the guy. He's not the guy like Roman Reigns will continue to be the guy. Dean Ambrose is just that expendable, you know, can do anything Iron Man type of guy. That's Dean Ambrose. That is 110% Dean Ambrose. Okay. Now, the Ambrose Asylum. Ambrose comes out, pretty strong pop as per usual. And, you know, we're in New Orleans tonight, and he presents Seth Rollins, who gets, you know, pretty decent reaction, actually. And like I said, you know, you can get to see old times, buddy, blah, blah, blah. He's like, come on, why the smug look, blah, blah, blah. He's like, and it's not like, you know, I think he said it when Roman got in the ring. Roman gets in the ring, New Orleans boos the crap out of him. This is nothing new, and it's so fucking beautiful that they just boo Roman Reigns. Yes. And then WWE's trying to play it off as the fans, you know, it's a new cool fad. We boo the guys that we like, and we cheer the guys that we hate. Like, no. But you know, this is me just digging into WWE's brains and trying to critique everything. I'm not gonna do that. And I also do have a topic I want to touch on at the end of the review too. So, you know, we're gonna get there. But first is this Ambrose Asylum segment. And the first thing I want to say about this is when they all get in the ring, I guess, I don't know, they're probably told backstage, hey, wait for that giant shield, shield, shield chant, and it never, ever came. There were guys chanting, so like there was a big portion of the crowd in support of Seth Rollins, and then they basically like he asked, like Dean asked Seth, how are you? He asked the same thing to Roman, and they run through all the Shield memories and how much fun they had together, and then they're like, yeah, we did have so much fun. Remember the time where we found Ambrose passed out in that one city, or the 6-man tags, the ones with the Wyatts, the ones with Evolution. Like those are some really good moments, and like Seth, like in all seriousness, some of my best times in the ring I had were tagging with you guys because our 6-man tags were legendary. Which they were, and now WWE thinks anybody can pull off a 6-man tag. But that I digress. Um, but excuse me, guys. But we move on from there, and it goes basically. So for my favorite part, being in the Shield, you guys were stabbing Roman in the back and stabbing Dean in the back, and then Roman's like, oh well, basically he's like, and he's like, I want to be the man. He's like, but you really like, and Roman had a like this is Roman's best promo, like probably since his NXT stuff, and I'm like I don't know why I felt this so much. He's like, why'd you stab us in the back for fame, for fortune, for limelight? He's like, come on, man. He's like, he basically said we ran the world together, blah blah blah, and it came down to Roman. Like he even got better later in the promo. He's like, as Roman was saying, if you were the guy, Seth, you'd still be holding this. He's like, I was the guy, but you know what? My knee buckled, and he used the line that he used the night after he came back from Extreme Rules and came back from injury. He's like, my knee buckled under holding the pressure and weight of this company up on my back, saying, you know what, I never lost that championship, and you have it. And basically, some people are bringing it up as, Seth has, he's bringing babyface heat, and WWE wants Roman to be the babyface, and if Seth was allowed to say that, where does, like, what are they trying to do? Like, is there miscommunication in the creative writing of how this is working out? Because they both were written with babyface promos, even though at the end of the day, Roman's going to be received as a heel. And it's like, whatever Rollins said, he had this one giant section of grown men that just popped at everything he said. And whatever Reigns said, he had this one giant section of grown men that would boo whatever he would say, and this one giant section of women who would just shriek at whatever he would say in New Orleans. So it was just like, and then Ambrose just sits there and like he asked them questions, and like I don't know if this was meant to be comical or whatever, and like I don't know if this was just Dean getting irked, but it started with Dean just like, hey guys, I asked you a question. Like I asked the question, and then Seth basically answered the question with the question to Roman. He's like, hey, I asked the questions. Roman is the same. Hey, I asked the questions, and then at the end of this, when Roman really gets loud and says, "You know what? You're really the guy. You have to beat me. Then come beat me." Blah blah blah. And like it was for Roman, I don't know. I just felt it was really well done for him. Like, I didn't find any kind of problems with this promo. And you know what? Like you guys know, I despise Roman Reigns, but at the end of the day, I will give the man credit where credit is due. He worked off of Rollins and Ambrose pretty well here, and then that's where Ambrose cuts in. He's like, "Yeah, but I'm in Money in the Bank. What if I win and cash in on both of you?" And that's where even when Seth was bringing up favorite moments of his, like earlier when he was mentioning like, hey, I like this moment, that moment, that moment, and like, but Dean, you weren't here for this one. Remember when I stole your moment at WrestleMania? And like, you know, normally I would, critique this so hard, but the way Seth worked it in, like he's aware, like he's self-aware, dude. Like he's like, yeah, I know this didn't happen, but the way the company wants us to believe it happened was that Roman had Brock beat. So it's like, hey, remember when I stole your moment, even though it was not going to be his moment, and he just got F5 for like the 5th time, and he was going to lose at that moment? But remember when I stole your moment and I won a championship from you? Yeah, I think you remember that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it devolves into a brawl where, they brawl and Seth gets Superman punched by Roman, and then Dean lays out Roman with dirty deeds. And thank you, thank you, thank you, WWE. Thank you for letting Dean Ambrose get an edge somewhere here, because the man need, like, I'm not going to use the old he's dying out here line, but Dean Ambrose never gets to get one on Roman. Like, never gets one on Roman Reigns. And it's the most irritating, irking thing ever that Dean can never get one over on Roman. Okay. Now, I have to find where we are next here because, the stupid notes are loading really slow. And I probably should use my phone for this in all actuality, but hey, it is what it is. And yes, I probably will do that here in a second. But I'm pretty sure after we come up with a commercial next, Stephanie was in the back with Dean. And she's like, "You must be pretty proud of yourself." And Dean's pretty mellow about it. Yeah, I'm like what I did. I'm cool with it. Yeah, I'm proud of it. And then Stephanie basically says to Dean, she's like, oh, basically Dean says, she's like, all that hatred and all that hatred in your heart and everything, yeah, is that contagious? Because I don't want to catch it. And then Stephanie's like, oh no. And she's like, you know what? Hatred isn't a bad thing, Dean. You just have to know how to use it and channel it for all the right reasons. WWE. WWE, 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 WWE. Why would you do that? Because anybody who overthinks things like me, or who read into things like me, and anybody else out there on the internet who is basically going to overread it and look into it, they're going to see all these fake articles in the week. Dean Ambrose will turn heel because of Stephanie McMahon promo. You're going to see these things, and you're just going to say, oh my goodness, Dean Ambrose he's going to turn, and that Stephanie planted the seeds of the heel turn, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, 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 no. That is not going to happen. You guys are overdoing it. You're overdoing it. It's not a thing that's going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, let me use this last part of notes here. And it still hasn't even loaded yet, people. Can you believe this crap? So, you know what, I'm just going to segue here if I can't get it. Because this is getting ridiculously dumb to me. Okay, so we're just gonna roll with something here. So at this point in the night, we basically get I believe it was a Cesaro interview in the back, and I think this is where Cesaro was basically with Renee Young, and Sammy wanted to be a little child and basically comment on anything Cesaro said, because this felt like real life Sami Zayn to me. Have you ever heard interviews of Sami Zayn where he feels like if you don't get something 100% right, he's gonna nitpick you? And I'm like, no, that's not exactly how things work. That's not exactly how I see it. Like, Sami Zayn I'm not gonna call him a perfectionist, but in a sense, he kind of is, and feels like a bit of a perfectionist. So, I'm gonna go to Cesaro interview here. Cesaro basically, like Cesaro says, I'm on live television doing an interview, and you want to come in and be childish. He's like, here's something you have to learn, dude. No matter, he's like, and like, because basically Sammy said, you've been treating me like I'm not like I'm not worthy of being here, yada yada. He's like, I've been all the same places you have. We've done all the same things, and he's like, Sammy, I've been here 4 months. I've been here 4 years. You've been here 4 months. What you have to learn and understand is no matter where you've been and what you've done, it doesn't matter unless you're here. So he basically tells Sammy, grow up. And like it's always been like him and Sammy have always had like these conflicting views, even since NXT, because in NXT their feud started over competitive matches. Like that is what people mean when they say good feuds are built in the ring. And good feuds are built in the ring. Like Sammy Cesaro was just a match that Sammy, one match that Sammy snuck out. 2 out of 3 falls. That was all Cesaro. Oh, excuse me. 2 out of 3 falls, that was all Cesaro. And then the takeover match, Cesaro won that, and that was incredible as well. So, I just feel like Sammy feels like he has this chip on his shoulder. And to a degree, when you live in the land of the giants like the WWE, and yes, I can even still call that. You can even say, yeah, well, all the indie guys can you really call that, but, yeah. But that's, yeah. But up next we get, I believe we see Natalya and Becky Lynch at ringside, and then the non-title match between Charlotte and Paige. Now, revisionist history, everyone. It's a beautiful thing, but WWE thinks we're too dumb to remember, because they like to play this up as whenever someone gets a win on television, you get a title match. Okay, well, why can I remember within the last 2 months, Paige has pinned Natalia, and nothing has come for Paige yet. And can I mention once again tonight? These girls got 3 minutes once again because it was Charlotte. Like she quickly just she she beat Paige, and it was only yeah you can say it's only because Dana Brooke, but at the end of the day, like whenever heels sneak out wins, they get title shots. But a face can get unexpected help and they just win like that, and just, Paige wins with the rampage either way. Dana Brooke tossed in the ring. Paige just fed into it, but Dana wasn't trying to help Paige. She was trying to get Charlotte back in the ring before the 10 count, and she aggressively tossed in the ring and right into the rampage. So that was pretty much that. These women get 3 minutes again, and then Sunday we get announced that there is a women's tag team match between Becky Lynch and Natalia, and Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Okay, now backstage we get okay. I went over the Cesaro thing. Okay, now backstage we get Charlotte and Dana. Where basically Charlotte calls Dana her lackey. She basically messed up. She's like, "Oh, you're the reason I lost. Blah blah blah. You're nothing more than a lackey." I mean, protege. So I can see Dana Brooke here turning on Charlotte and fading back into obscurity and just going back to crawling the hole that she belongs in. No, but like I'm like you guys probably know. I'm not like if you've seen any of the NXT stuff I've done and all that, I'm not a fan of Dana Brooke. I'm not a fan of Dana Brooke at all. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. And I guess we stand where we stand. So, uh we get Sheamus attack we get Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. Sheamus basically, he gets the win. Zack Ryder is the Brian Cage of WWE because he's Mr. GMSI on the main roster. He consistently jobs the most out of anybody, but he makes sure he gets his shit in. He gets the broski boot in, or he'll get a majority of his offense in, and then he never transitions that into the Rough Rider. He went for the Rough Rider, got tossed in the turnbuckle, got bro kicked by Sheamus, and then Sheamus continues to beat on Ryder, and then out comes Apollo Crews to save the day. Now I'm just glad Apollo is actually like not super. You see this smile? That's what Apollo Crews does. Super smiley. It's too easy. Backflip. Like, I'm just glad that's not him. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm glad that's not him because it probably still is him. But I'm just glad that he's showing a little more character and a little more aggression. Okay. Now, up next, after the attack and everything, Cesaro versus Sami Zayn. And I tweeted this out if you guys seen it at the beginning of the show. I'm getting like I wanted to see this match in its entirety, but no, we got to get a commercial, and Golden Corrals has to tell us that you can get blah 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 for this much money. Like, dude, I don't give a flying fuck. Like, can we not have taken this commercial? Like, what was after this? Hold on. I want to see what was after this. After this match was, I have to go to the next page of the notes, and yeah, I have to go to the next page of the notes for that. But point being, dude, like, I don't. It irks me. It irks me to death. It really does. That just WWE tends to take commercials between these matches, and they didn't give Sammy Cesaro as much time as I honestly would have thought it would have been. And it felt like this match never really got a chance to kick into another gear. Like, like you're into the match, like, okay, they're doing the beginning stuff, and then like, oh, it's really getting interesting. And, like, when you feel like it's really getting interesting, like that's what WWE does. Like, like with Suicide Dives and Planches, oh, this is happening. Oh, we'll be right back, and then you come back into a slowed down rest spot because they have to do that so you don't miss anything interesting on the TV side of things and stuff. Like, and then the commercial breaks, they don't really do all that much that's not interesting, but I mean that's interesting, but I mean, come on now, dude. This is the one match I didn't want to get commercial tonight, and it got commercialed, and then we come back, and then it ends shortly. And Sammy ends up with the sunset flip powerbomb, and that's pretty much it. So Sami Zayn gets the win, and then we move forward. And we are for John. Like we're getting ready for John Cena and AJ Styles in the contract signing, and this is the contract signing for the official match. And Michael Cole is in the ring and basically tells these guys, "You guys will meet this Sunday. Blah blah blah. Here are the contracts." And can I just say, and this may wear off at some point. Yeah, this may wear off at some point for me. But John Cena, and I thought I said it last year with his wrestling. I didn't particularly like some of the booking decisions that were made regarding John Cena, but hey, you, you can't you can't be completely happy with WWE. This is just impossible. But I mean, this contract signing, this contract signing. Um, it feels like they're doing what they do with every other indie guy. They give you a promo that caters to the smart audience, and then they give a promo that caters, that John Cena says that brings it all full circle. Like, AJ Styles lives in that world where you can't beat me. I'm better than you. Yeah, I'm better than you in the ring. Yeah, you can be better than me on a mic. I'm better than you in the ring. And it's okay because John Cena says whether it's been PWG, whether it's been New Japan, whether it's been ROH, and I'm not even just saying this like paraphrase. No, he literally said PWG, Ring of Honor, or New Japan on WWE television. And I said, like, I don't want to make this statement because I feel like it'd be false. But like that basically says like Vince doesn't figure those guys as competition, which he obviously doesn't because PWG isn't even televised. New Japan you have to watch at 5 in the morning, and Ring of Honor isn't even broadcasted in homes all over America. It's not nationally broadcasted, but it's Sinclair broadcasting. You wanted to really pull a plug on Ring of Honor. Sinclair has a lot of money, and they could really get Ring of Honor nationally televised everywhere, not just in certain spots that Sinclair has for their broadcast stations. They can really get more locations that Ring of Honor can get broadcasted all over the country. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody else knows this too. Vince is like, fine, go out there and say whatever you want to say. But if I hear the letters TNA, and he's like, no, I wouldn't do this, John, AJ, you're off TV. Like, AJ, you're off TV. No, but no seriousness. Like, I'm pretty sure they were probably explicitly told, I don't want to hear the letters TNA, NAT, ATN. Like, I don't want to hear any of that. And they didn't go there, and AJ basically comes out and says, you know what? Well, Cena basically has 2 contracts. He's like, you know what? I've seen this bullshit before. I've seen this story before. I've been here too long. I know this. I'm the veteran, and here's what's going to happen. You're going to have to sign a contract where the club is ringside, and I don't really care. I'll fight my best. We already know what's going to happen. You have to fight me until I can't fight no more, and you're going to win. Or we can really answer the question of what if for the last, 15 years, and, go at it, and whoever wins, wins. Now, I honestly like this line from AJ because like people are giving AJ Styles so much flack for what he does on the mic. Like, is it just the accent? Like, I don't see how AJ Styles is really bad on the mic. Is it like his delivery? Because I don't really see how AJ Styles is that bad. Like, as a babyface, I can understand how his stuff can be a little generic and it can be generic. It can be just same old babyface kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna say his heel work on a microphone is anything special, but it definitely gets the job done for me. Like I don't see where people fall flat with AJ Styles. It's just I don't get it. But he basically says, and I like this line a lot. The 2 guys who've been able to walk around this company for the past 15 years without a championship and still call themselves a champ will go at it this Sunday. And he's like, he eventually signed a contract that just had the 1v1 with Cena, no club. Now I don't know why I say this. They say no club. I see 1 or 2 things going down here. One, and dirt sheet reports, and I know you shouldn't believe what the dirt sheets say unless it's an explicit source. But I did see something, and I scrolled by that said Finn Balor to debut the night after Money in the Bank, and you're like, no, you can't do that. Well, if I remember 2 things last year correctly, Sasha Banks and Kevin Owens were both main NXT champions, women's and NXT World Heavyweight Champion, and they were both working double duty. Finn can interfere, and yet he's not a part of the club yet, but he'll be the night after in the club. And contractually speaking, the club contractually right now is Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I don't know why I still almost say Doc Gallows. I had to stop myself. But I can see either Balor coming out or Styles winning clean. I don't see Cena winning. And if Cena wins, I don't want to say it is what it is. I'll probably be mad, but fuck, it's John Cena. It's the shit that happens, dude. But this is like Cena's best mic work of not trying to bury somebody intentionally. He had the whole Glassjaw Orton thing not last year, like 2012. He had the whole thing last year where he's like, Triple H was Ric Flair's. Well, Ric Flair was Triple H's mentor, but Triple H was never Ric Flair's bitch. And they're like, but you were Triple H's bitch. And on Sunday, I'm gonna make you mine and sign the contract. Yeah, like he's done such a good job. John Cena's done such a good job of putting over AJ Styles. Like it's not like he's done such a great job. Like AJ Styles, we've been the best. We've been the guys. We've been the ones that have carried companies on our backs. I've won 15 world championships around the last so and so how many over years. You've won more than 15. Let's put it to the challenge and see who's really the best. Like this is a story that's being told around who's better in this, and who's better. Like it's one of those stories that I talk about that like NXT builds. Like I'm better than you, you're better than me, and it's not about anything personal. It's about who's better in the ring. This story could have been told babyface to babyface, but I guess WWE went like no, because we don't want to have a circle jerk of respect. We want this to get personal, and if it's going to get personal because AJ turned heel and attacked Cena, I'm fine with it. Either way, at the end of the day, I like this kind of thing because it makes Styles look good and makes Styles be able to just say what all the indie fans just like, oh my god. And then Cena basically can bring it full circle and say, like, I don't give a crap, yada yada. Like, either way, from either side of the spectrum, I like where both these guys are going with this, and I like both their story points, but Cena basically is tearing it apart on the mic, and Styles is, like, he's holding his own, but, like, I'm not saying he's on Cena's level on the microphone, but he's holding his own. But when that bell rings Sunday night and they have the match, that's where Styles will excel. And Cena, he's gotten so much better in the ring. This is really one of my most look forward to matches. Like, Rollins and Reigns, yeah, sure, the intrigue there lies somewhere else, and I'll get to that when I get to that. It was Dean Ambrose later in the main event against Chris Jericho, which Stephanie also did announce the little segment that they had, and I did mention it, but yeah, sorry about that. And end of the day, I think this is probably number one most anticipated match. Probably. There's this Money in the Bank, then Rollins and Reigns for the main event. Okay, now that I have, taken that long-winded soliloquy, we can move forward here. Because AJ signed the title that said no club, and like I said, contractually, I had my belief. Okay. Sami's in his backstage. Okay. Yeah, they just showed Sami backstage talking to Shane. We really couldn't hear what was going on there. And then we get... oh, okay. I missed this in the notes. Okay. Yeah, I missed this in the notes. But to go over this, but Kevin Owens walks into the office and says, "You know where Stephanie is?" Because he's trying to basically have Stephanie in goods. And he's like, no, why? He's like, oh, I just felt like it'd be right to present her with this because, he basically didn't want to tell Shane, you have it out against me. But he was like, no, I don't know where Stephanie is. It's like, oh, well, he's like, come on, tell me, what's up? He's like, well, Alberto Del Rio just got to the building and he just showed up. And he's like, I don't think that'd be becoming of somebody who would win Money in the Bank and, represent this company. He's like, where are you going with this? He's like, what do you think we should do? He's like, well, I think we should take my Money in the Bank. Del Rio barged in, blah, 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 pedal, dog. It just, and then Kevin's like, you know what? I've told this to you a bunch of, I think everybody said this to you already. Just because you can speak another language isn't cool. And they just start going at it in Canadian, and I said Canadian. That just sounded so wrong. I'm sorry. I really do apologize to anyone who's Canadian out there. They start going at it in French and Spanish, and they're just going at it. And then Kane is eventually sitting next to Shane, and he tells him, "Hey, quiet, both of you." And then Kane comes up with the idea that both of them should be in a tag team. It's like, how about a little team building exercise? Tag team match. Kane, said, you two versus the Lucha Dragons, and I mean, if you guys lose, you're out of Money in the Bank. Now, come on, your card is already set. I wouldn't think that you would even, like, all imagination, like not imagination, all thought of them losing is all gone. Like I even thought to myself, like, hey, maybe they lose and then they regain their spot on SmackDown. Like maybe Shane or Stephanie's on SmackDown, and like, you know what, you get a second chance. Like if you beat if you beat I said Lucha Undergrounds, if you beat the Lucha Dragons, you get your title shot back. And they're like, not title shot. I'm sorry, your Money in the Bank spot's back. They could have did that after the match, but I don't think they would have, especially considering how the show ended. So that was basically that. And we basically knew they would win no matter how much they argued. So I think we can get to the match now. And the Lucha Dragons do go on to lose this match because Del Rio sidesteps Kalisto when he goes for a suicide dive, and like Del Rio just shot Kalisto into the barricade, which is completely vicious, dude. Like, have you seen how Kalisto just completely just died when he hit that barricade? It was awesome. And he didn't have to do it, dude. Like this, these are just a Raw match where you guys are just jobbing at this point, and this is like you didn't have to do all that. You don't have to go the extra mile to really make, to really take yourself out of the match. But Kalisto's a hell of a worker, dude. I appreciate that he did that. But is it wrong for me to say, like, I feel bad for Kalisto because the man was just doing singles, and now it feels like we've taken this giant step backwards. It's like, well, Vince is probably like, well, you failed at singles. No, you guys failed at presenting him well in singles because I can remember weeks where Kalisto wasn't even on Raw. Like, you guys basically like never put him on Raw, and then you started putting him in rematch after rematch after rematch with Del Rio. And, like, yet, when they do have good chemistry, I don't think either of them are really that, like, story-wise, because Kalisto's an underdog, but I don't think Del Rio is the guy who can basically carry a story good enough to, justify match after match after match after match after match. No matter how good their chemistry is, they'll always have good matches. Just like I can't consistently just sit here and watch Kalisto Del Rio. So Kalisto gets the win. Not Kalisto gets the win. Kalisto is back in the tag team with Lucha Dragons, and I honestly think, like, as old as Hunico is, as he's playing Sin Cara, I honestly think that Hunico, like, he can fare well. I'm not gonna say he can fare well in his own because he'll obviously probably be jobbing again, which is a shame because if you've seen Money in the Bank, not Money in the Bank, the WrestleMania IC Championship ladder match, that was awesome. Like, that was just awesome itself. Then you would honestly know that Sin Cara can hold his own. And, he's not even botchy. Like, you look at the stuff they do in the ring, like, when he gets his opportunities in the ring in the tag team matches, he doesn't look like he's out of place with Kalisto. Like, yeah, he has it. He has his offense. Kalisto has his offense. Like, that's how it is. But those are Lucha Dragons, and it stays that way. Can't they just have one of those, like, I thought they were going, like, the Red Dragon route. Like, yeah, Kalisto do tag sometimes, but he's mostly a singles wrestler. And it's not like Red Dragon and Ring of Honor, they're mostly singles wrestlers, but they have their tag team obligations that they'll fulfill sometimes, but they do primarily aim at singles championships because they know, like, yeah, we're the greatest on God's green. We've held tag team championships 3 times, and we've had really long reigns as tag champs. And they know that. So, yeah. But with Lucha Dragons, it just feels like Kalisto and Sin Cara as a unit are just going to do nothing but job, and the WWE is more invested in Kalisto as the Lucha Dragon jobber than Kalisto as a single star, which is a shame. But Kalisto's young, so maybe it's a little too early for me to be saying something like this. But it is what it is, dude. It just bothers me a little bit, and I don't even want that kind of breakup where Sin Cara goes heel or Kalisto goes heel. Like, just peaceful. Hey, man, we can pursue tag down the line if singles doesn't work out, or hey, we can tag here and there. If you need me, I need you, or a threat ever opposes this. I've got your back, you've got mine. We save each other running in the ring, all that crap. But just, yeah, that. Okay, and I felt like I just needed to get that off my chest. Okay. But this match ends with Sin Cara getting pinned with the pop-up powerbomb. He's on his knees. Del Rio kicks him, and it's just payback for what they did, for when Kevin Owens basically, almost, for Kevin Owens just basically treating it like shit recently. Okay, now we get this next segment, which is Owens talking backstage with Stephanie. And it basically leads into her basically making... Like, let me just long story short this. The main event is Ambrose Jericho, and Owens wants to be out there, because Zayn is on commentary, and Shane put Zayn on commentary, which is what we didn't hear. So Owens wants to be on commentary, and then Del Rio wants to be on commentary, and she's like, no, you'll be the special guest ring announcer. And then Cesaro wants to be out there, so, not the ring announcer, you'll be the special guest timekeeper. And then Kevin's like, oh, you get to ring a little bell. Like, just whenever Kevin Owens makes, like, dickhead remarks like that, it's always funny. Like, oh, you get to ring the little bell. Like, he's like a little fifth grader who will never shut up. He's like that smug little kid in fifth grade who you want to fight, but you're never going to get suspended. But you know it'll feel so good once you pound his face in. Like, that's who Kevin Owens is. But, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. We get, and then we'll get Cesaro doing the ring announcing. So, up next, we get an announcement for what we'll be having on SmackDown, which is Dean Ambrose. Wait. On SmackDown, we'll see Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho, Del Rio, and Kevin Owens in a six-man tag, which they just relegated to SmackDown, which is like what I was saying earlier, when like six-man tags are like the best thing ever now because the Shield did them great. Like, okay, dude, whatever. I'm just not even gonna, yeah. And Ambrose and Jericho basically ends with Ambrose getting the win, via dirty deeds, and then they all brawl. Jericho climbs the ladder, grabs Money in the Bank, and that's pretty much it. So, you know what? I do want to thank you guys for watching my Raw review. This has been the Raw review, and I do appreciate it. And thank you for bearing with me for the whole I didn't have notes thing, and I had to use the computer for notes, and I just used my phone, and I realized my phone was faster. Thank you guys for bearing with me there. But you know what? I hope you guys did enjoy this. Remember to leave a like on this video if you already haven't. Subscribe if you're not subscribed for more of that wrestling goodness on my channel. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitter, FightMastinFight. Last fight, minus the T. Thank you guys for watching. See ya! And, yeah. Computer's being a jerk. So we're going to take two on it. Thank you guys for watching. See ya!